Grade 12 IBIT 1.2 Cloud Computing. So what is cloud computing? Well, just in a nutshell, it's using another company's hardware or software over the internet. So instead of having all your own computer and hardware and software sitting on your little device, on your desktop, you're using somebody else's resources somewhere out there on the network over the internet. So basically, it's IT outsourcing over the internet. You are very familiar with some examples. You probably use Google every day, or web-based mail like Hotmail, Yahoo, or Gmail. You may use Google Docs, which is basically it's a word processor, but over a web browser instead of being on your own computer. Or you may use Dropbox. These are all examples of cloud computing. There are 3 levels. Software as a service is the top level. Then platform as a service is using more of it. And infrastructure as a service is the greatest form of using the cloud. So software as a service is using a complete application which is running on someone else's system on the internet, on a server somewhere. So instead of the software running on your own computer, it's running somewhere on the internet. Examples are your web-based email like Gmail, Google Docs, and Dropbox. Platform as a service was the next level. Basically, a platform is offered to the developer, which is you or somebody using the cloud. And this person can use this platform to develop a whole application. And he can also run and manage the application on the platform. So the advantages are that you don't need to have installed all the software and have the infrastructure, maybe fancy computers that are able to create that platform for you to develop your software. And it runs on the internet. Obviously, you have to pay for it. You may develop your own e-commerce website, but the whole thing, including your shopping cart and checkout and payment mechanism, runs on the merchant server. And examples are Force.com, the Google App Engine, and Zoho Creator. Infrastructure as a service is the lowest level, or the greatest level, and this is when you're using somebody else's computing hardware over the internet. You're using their servers or storage, and you just buy what you need. So it's called pay-as-you-go. Often it's referred to as utility computing, and web hosting is a simple example of IaaS. So web hosting is when somebody on the internet has a server and they rent it out to you. You put your own website on there and they rent out space on their server to have your website. Online storage or file syncing is something you might have heard about. If you use Google Drive, you're using this already. You may use OneDrive, which is the Microsoft version, or Dropbox or iCloud, which is the Apple version. And what you do is you can store your files on the internet, and you say which files you want to sync or synchronize, and then you can access the file from your cell phone or from your tablet or from your computer, and it keeps it up to date. If you change the file on one of the devices, it will load that change onto the cloud, and when you access the same file from another device, you will see the latest version. You can share files with others, and you can make duplicate copies off-site, although it's not as good as a real backup service. So often in file syncing applications, there's a web interface, so you can go through a browser like Edge or Chrome, and then if you want to, you can download a little app which obviously allows you to use the application better. And the free version is usually offered, it's a limited version. They'll give you limited space. Often there's a trial version. They will give you an option to upgrade if you need more space, and then there will be a monthly fee to pay. If you want to do backup on the internet, it's not the same as syncing. Backup is when the whole of your drive is saved somewhere in the cloud, and it's done on a regular basis. You set up a backup schedule, and it's done incrementally. Every time you change a file, when you back up again, only those files get saved again. It does not save the whole drive every time you back up. You can go to previous versions of files, which is very useful. And most of these backup services encrypt the data. Examples are Carbonite, Acronis, CachePlan, and most charge a subscription fee. Media repositories are another example of SaaS. Basically what it is a safe storage location, and iTunes, if any of you use iTunes, it's an example of a media repository. So what you do is you pay a monthly subscription fee, and then you can use all of their music. Or you might find a media repository for books or other types of data that you may want access to. They don't have an individual copy of each file for each user. What they do is they allow you to download the music or the book, and then as long as you're paying your subscription fee, you can keep accessing it. Cloud applications in SaaS, the software is where most of the processing is done. There's Gmail and Facebook as examples. Often there's a front end which sits on your device, which you can install, or an interface, but then most of the processing is done on the server and is downloaded. Then you download whatever data you need to fill up that front end. Examples we've spoken about: Google Docs, Office 365 is another, and iWork. Office 365 has a yearly subscription fee, whereas Google Docs is totally free. Some more cloud applications. Under SaaS, there's 123D Catch, which allows you to convert objects to 3D. Microsoft Photosynth, which gives you a panable, zoomable, big panorama. These are just more examples. There's also Customer Relationship Management, or CRM, if you've heard that or seen that on the internet. Allows people to manage all of their customers. And then there's all sorts of examples of software that is rented. So renting software is different. In the old days, we used to buy Microsoft Office, but these days you rent the software. So instead of buying a license to use it forever, you pay a subscription fee, and then you have the right to the latest version. So examples are cloud-based apps, which is software that runs on most remote servers, or else they're downloadable, locally installed apps like Office 365. You can download it onto your computer, but if you stop paying your yearly subscription fee, then it gets uninstalled after a while. If you want to look up SaaS in gaming, have a look at the text box on page 19 for more information. So how does cloud computing affect your hardware needs? Well, it's a huge advantage because you do not need as much space for storing your own data, because all of this is now on the internet. But what you do need, hardware-wise, is a fast and reliable broadband connection. Some software still runs if you're offline, but a lot of the software only runs when you're online. Virtualization is another thing that is important in cloud computing. Lots of things are done virtually, like the companies that provide cloud services do two things. The one is they have a very powerful machine and they split the resources between many users, making it look like there are lots of little computers there. That is a virtualization thing. Or else they combine a lot of machines to create a super powerful service, and it looks like they have one machine. These are both examples of virtualization. The risks and benefits of cloud computing. When you rent computer services, you're relying on a service provider. You're hoping that they stay in business. If they don't, you can have big problems. You're hoping they also follow good security practices and that nobody can hack into your data. And you're also expecting them to follow good backup policies so they don't lose your data and not to oversell their services. If they sell their services to too many people, you will find that the service eventually gets very slow and unusable, and this could be a big problem. The risks are that your cloud computing is only as good as your internet connection, and the providing company exists, and you also have to keep paying rent or they will stop offering the services to you. The benefits, scalability is a huge benefit. So as you need more power, processing power, more as you have more people accessing your website on a web server, etc., the power that they offer you can increase or decrease. And because they are virtual, cloud services can instantly increase or decrease the processing power or storage capacity easily based on your needs, as long as the company has all the resources to offer this. Ubiquity means that you can use the services anytime and anywhere on any device. So cloud computing resources and services are truly everywhere. It's not limited by time or location, as long as you have a good internet connection. Last few benefits. Cloud computing enables collaboration. If you've used Google Docs with friends, you've seen that you can all edit one document all at the same time, which is a huge advantage. And there are many other examples of this. You can outsource your maintenance and hardware upgrades, and you can also outsource your software installation and upgrades, which means that you need to have less specialists around, you need to buy less hardware and buy less software as long as you keep paying your rent.